Amen. We'll go to GC 608 paragraph 2. So I won't summarise what we did yesterday because I did summarise it towards the end of the class. Hopefully it's reasonably fresh within your minds. We've looked at fractals and had some discussion of how they work. And we were discussing the issue about the Sunday law. And this is the quote that Sister Effie gave to us. As the storm approaches, a large class who had professed faith in the third angel's message but have not been sanctified through obedience to the truth abandon their position and join the ranks of the opposition. By uniting with the world and partaking of its spirit, they have come to view matters in nearly the same light. And when the test is brought, they are prepared to choose the easy, popular side. Okay, with that, Sister Effie, you got it in front of you? Can you go with someone else? Because I want to ask you questions on it. This is your Sunday law quote. And I said, what's 2014 got to do with the Sunday law? And you said, it's the demonstration of two classes, and the way you demonstrate two classes is you see a separation, because they both behave differently. And I said, where do you see this? And you said, first sentence, abandon their position, if I recall. Okay, you still okay with all of that? Yep. So that's your definition of a Sunday law. When you
it's one of the characteristics.
Yes, that's what I meant. I don't mean it's everything, because there's no Sunday and there's no law which we expect. Right. But that's the one, that's what you want to show us. Abandonment of position. It's a demonstration of two classes. And you said that that's what happened in 2014 when Path to the Just and other associated ministries left the movement, who had a huge influence upon us. You okay with that? So we ran out of time. You remember I put it up here. What is the storm? So let me ask you another question. It says test. What's the test? Okay, you want to say the storm is the test?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to say the storm is the test. And what's that?
The test is the Sunday law. The test is the national Sunday law.
I'll just put Sunday law. I think we all know what you're referring to. Okay. Sunday law, and this is the Sunday law as well.
Yes.
That's how you read that? I could have put what where, sorry?
You had just started going horizontal instead of vertical, but this is fine too. I think you guys are brainstorming equals test and equals...
You prefer it that way?
I think that would be easier.
Like that? Okay. So, walk me through this passage. So, we're in the first sentence. So, this is an exercise in reading. So, what you need to have the passage in front of you, so we can all see how we're going to read this passage. Everybody okay? Yep. Do we understand what the exercise is? We want to see how we read. As the storm approaches, you okay with his therapy? Past, present, or future?
As the storm approaches, it's not here yet, so it's future.
Okay, so wherever we are in history, wherever this is taken, the storm is in the future. Okay with that? So we're here, and the storm is here. Agree? My board work okay? As the storm approaches, a large class who have professed faith in the third angel's message but haven't been sanctified abandon their position. Okay? So these people who are going to abandon their position, when did they do that abandonment? Before the storm, after the storm, or at the storm?
Is when I read before the storm.
Before the storm.
As it approaches.
So I'm going to put separation. Is that spelled correctly? Yeah? So the separation is before the storm. Okay? What's your definition of Sunday law?
I said it's the storm, but
No, what was your definition of Sunday law?
the text.
What was your definition of Sunday law? I said your definition, you said it's one of the characteristics, because you don't do. So what was one of your characteristics for the Sunday law?
That they abandoned the position.
No? How did you express it? Demonstration,
Yes.
2 classes. And I'm saying, what's the demonstration of the 2 classes? You said abandonment of the position.
Yes.
Okay, you still hold to that?
I do.
Okay, so abandonment means separation. So where's Sunday law on here?
It's still I would say it's the period before or after, because there's a point. The Sunday law comes. It can be a point in time, as well as a period.
Tell me when the point
So
begins of the abandonment. Does the abandonment begin before the Sunday law begins, or at the point where it begins?
it happens before.
So we begin to abandon our position before the Sunday law?
According to this, yes.
So your definition of Sunday law is no longer abandonment. Because now you're demonstrating yourself,
Yeah,
you're demonstrating before the Sunday law.
before the
So that's not a definition of Sunday law anymore.
Okay.
So which way do you want to go? Throw the text, throw the quote away?
I'll go with the passage.
So if you're going with the passage,
Yeah.
is this passage defending your position that the Sunday law equals abandonment?
No, it's not. It's not.
So how do you know 2014 is the Sunday law then? Because you've just destroyed all your logic.
I know. Let me think. My brain is still waking up. Sorry. So 2014. I don't know exactly what dates these things happened.
We won't go, we'll just stick 2014, Sunday law.
It happened. It happened within 2014.
No, I'm not going to let you do that. 2014 is Sunday law.
Okay.
And the proof for that is abandonment of your position. That's what you said.
Yes.
Okay? And this is your proof text for it. So when does the abandonment occur?
It would have to happen before 2014.
If?
If, according to the passage, the separation happens before the storm. So if I'm saying the storm is 2014, which I said yesterday, then the separation would have happened before 2014.
Okay, so you don't even have a proof text now. You have
I
no,
don't, yeah.
you don't have any logic to tell me Sunday law is 2014.
Right, but I have another one. I have another proof.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that your statement that demonstration of 2 classes is not Sunday law anymore.
Yes, I understand that now, yes. I do. As I read this closer, took a closer look, and we put it on the line, I see that it's not, like this quote doesn't apply to
Okay,
that.
so tell me how you can prove 2014 is a Sunday law, because now you can't do it with demonstration.
Okay, so I was thinking in 1888, when A.T. Jones went to the Congress to, I think they had written it out, and they were trying to enforce it into a law, but he went and he appealed, and they couldn't, no they couldn't, it didn't work out. It ended up being not passed. And 126 years after that brings it to 2014. And 126 is a symbol of the 2520.
So now you're going to say they wanted to put a Sunday law in 2014, but someone stopped them.
No, I'm going to say that we see some characteristics. Not characteristics. I'm very confused. Can you give me a minute to think this through? I'm really just waking up. Sorry.
Okay, so you want to think through your new logic, or you want to think through what you said on the board?
I'm going to think through everything.
Okay?
Just need some time.
Sister Daniela? Good to see you. Tell us what you're showing us.
I tell you what?
Tell us what you're going to show us.
Oh yes, about 2014.
What about it?
I'm gonna just share why 2014 is Sunday law.
Okay, it's the same thing.
Yes, around that.
Good.
Something around that. So anyway,
Okay, before you do that,
yes.
you like GC 608? Or is that no longer a proof? So you can do what?
It can be used in the. We can just let me just share, and then after that maybe we'll see if that applies or not.
Okay, do you agree with Sister Effie's position on 608? Her reading of that? It's on the board.
Yes, it makes sense.
It makes sense?
I'm not sure if storm is the Sunday law. Like, I don't know what is happening at the previous.
Tell me what abandonment is.
It would refer to letting go of something that we were holding on to.
No, I don't want the definition of abandonment. I meant the waymark. Sister Effie says this. I'm asking you agree with that. Okay, don't worry if you're not sure. Tell us your logic.
So these are. So we can see characteristics of the Sunday law in 2014. That's what I was gonna share. In that we see there's an outpouring of the latter rain in 2014. That is in relation to Ezra 7:9, like about Paniam and Raphia. Like
That's-
there was an increase in knowledge.
That's 2 years later.
I'm sorry?
Panium and Raphia are 2 years later.
I didn't say that.
Raphia and Panium are 2 years later.
2 years later, okay, fine, put that aside. Let's just say 7:9, not 7:9.
So Ezra
7:9.
7:9
National Sunday Law, because I'm comparing the two. So during the National Sunday Law, there will be an outpouring of a latter rain. I may not have put it very well, but there's the element of latter rain in Sunday Law.
Okay, so why is one Bible verse latter rain?
Why is what?
One Bible verse,
There was an increase. Okay, so
why is that latter rain?
because latter rain is a message, and so there was the message that light was revealed in that year about Ezra 7:9.
What makes that so special? We had light on another verse in 2013 and light on another verse in 2015 and 2012.
Ezra 7:9 opened up.
No help.
Let me just read it.
What are we reading? I'm reading Ezra 7:9. Let's turn to Ezra 7:9. So I understand your logic. I want to know, why is Ezra 7:9 latter rain and not Ezra 7:10 or Joel 2:20 or something? Ezra 7:9 is not one of my favourite Bible passages. I like Matthew 25 verse 1. Why is that not latter rain? Do you understand my question?
Yes, I understand your question. It was.
You can't expect us to believe that that's the latter rain just because it's your favourite text. Can we multitask? Who can multitask? Sister Denise, you can multitask? 2 studies at the same time, or maybe even 3 because she's back. Yeah? Okay, we'll stick to 1 at a time then. Go on then, sister. Sorry? You're conferring? What's going on? Come on. We're supposed to have done this yesterday.
So Ezra 7:9, it brings to this something that just escaped my mind.
Do you need some time? Who's going to help?
Sister, you can help me?
Sister Wendy, help.
I don't, about Ezra 7:9, I don't know much about Ezra 7:9. I haven't heard a lot of studies on it.
Nope, that's it. Nope. Sister Ruth. 9/11. Sorry, we have to multitask a bit because I'm giving her a bit more time. We'll come back. We won't do it at the same time. We'll just cycle through. Sister Ruth, 9/11 is what?
I think I said it was a waymark. It was a date, that the spirit of prophecy.
Good. So, 9/11. Let me see how I want to put this. The spirit of prophecy can see 9/11. That's what you're saying? Yeah? Does everybody understand what that board work means? Spirit of prophecy can see 9/11. Ellen White can see it. What quotes do you want to go for? Bit louder.
My first quote will be, and also in support to that, she sees it as
Support to what?
9/11. What more she sees also? She
Who's-
sees a Sunday law.
Who's she?
Sister White. She puts it as a way marker for the Sunday law.
That's what I'm saying. Give us the proof for that.
Yes.
Give us the proof first, then you can give us the interpretation of why that, what you're reading. First give us the words.
Okay, so should I give you first what she says about the building?
No, you first give us the reference.
The reference of it? So that will be testimonies to the churches.
9T,
90, page 12.
12.1.
Yes. And also 19, 13.1.
So page 12 to 13, basically. Yeah? That's it?
Yes.
Sorry, can I just ask a quick question? How do we read that again?
Read what?
SOP shed light on 9/11?
No,
or-
SOP can see 9/11. Ellen White can see 9/11, and this is the verse or the passage that shows us she can see it.
Trying to figure out what we mean by she can see it. That's what-
Okay, if you go to Great Controversy, 603, chapter 38, she can see when the angel of Revelation 18 comes down. The next chapter, chapter 39, she can see that there's going to be Jacob's time of trouble when Michael stands up. She speaks about it, she highlights it, she pinpoints it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
She can see it. She talks about it.
Okay, fair enough. Carry on.
Another reference?
Another reference is Review and Herald, July 5th, 1906. Paragraph 14.
14?
Yes.
That's it? Okay. Sister Refi? Not this. Back to your question.
Okay, back to my question. Okay, so thinking about it, the Greek controversy, chapter 38, she's describing the.
We're in 608 or another passage?
It's still 608.
Okay?
So I just went back to the first paragraph to see the title of that chapter, and it's the final warning. It's chapter 38. So she's describing events surrounding the final warning, and in describing the events, specifically the paragraph leading to that. The previous paragraph, so that would be 608.1. Yeah, 608.1. And even before, so she's describing the circumstances leading up to the abandonment, which we find in 608.2. So I would say that the storm is the circumstances leading up to the abandonment, which is the Sunday law, like the characteristic of the Sunday law.
The storm is before the Sunday law?
Then the abandonment happens before the storm. So then the abandonment would be describing the circumstances of
If I understand what you're saying the storm is a series of circumstances that cause agitation, and as this issue swells, then there's an abandonment.
the storm, the storm in the natural, the storm is not just storm and it's stop.
No, but it's storm, and then it carries on.
Yeah, there's a beginning point.
Let me ask you another question. Look at the quote. Second sentence. By uniting with the world and partaking of its spirit, they have come to view matters in the same way as the world. Is that okay? Yeah? And when the test is brought, so when have they become worldly? Before the test. When the test comes, what will they do?
They choose the easy popular.
What is the easy popular side? What does that mean? They're going to choose the popular side, the easy side.
It means they're going to move from where they were and go to another side.
And what do you call that?
Abandon, right?
So they abandon when?
When the test,
At the test?
when the test is brought,
At the
they
test?
are prepared to choose the easy side. That's what I'm reading.
So
Like after we enlarge it a bit, it looks like it's now giving us more detail.
abandonment equals test?
When the test is brought, they are prepared to choose the easy popular side. When it comes and they choose the easy popular side. So yeah.
So separation is? Separation is?
Separation is so separation would be uniting.
No, I'm not asking for a definition of it. We already know what the definition is. Separation is abandonment. If you're abandoning your position, where are you going?
You're going to the other side.
Which is the popular side. Okay, so what waymark is that? According to the passage.
At the test.
So separation is test?
Yes.
Are you okay with that?
Yes. The lazy fucker.
Sorry?
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay, so separation happens before what?
The storm.
So are we okay that the storm's here?
Yes.
So if the storm's here, have a look on the board.
Sorry.
Where's the test?
The test has to, the test is back there. The storm.
So the test is before the storm.
No, it can't.
Okay, you read carefully then.
Mhm.
Sister Daniela?
Yes.
Ezra 7, you told me it's latter rain. Why is it latter rain?
The element of midnight cry was brought up.
The element, we were talking about midnight cry for a long time before that.
Midnight sleep.
Where at Matthew 25 verse 6, at midnight there was a cry made. Not sure? Okay. Do you need more time? Sister Effie? Okay, Sister Denise, GC 608 paragraph 2, how do you read that? You're listening to all of this. She wanted to do it this way. Storm equals test equals Sunday law. You understand why she says Sunday law? Because she says at the Sunday law there's a separation of two classes. You can demonstrate them. You can see who's who. I had done it this way. Storm equals Sunday law, test equals... That's what she said. I'm just writing what she says. But she wanted to write it this way because she said they're all synonymous. So I went to the first part of the passage. And how do you read that?
What do you mean?
Tell me what it's saying. I want to. You read the first part of the paragraph. I want to put it on the board.
Read it literally? What it says?
I'm not sure what that
I
means.
think it says. I don't know what you're asking.
Do you tell me what the difference is? How can you do anything but what you think? You have to give your version of it. So I don't know if that's literally or objectively. It's subjective, isn't
Do
it?
you want me to read what the words say, or how?
I want you to read-
interpret it?
Well, you could. I could read them for you. I want you to tell me what they mean. if that's what you mean by interpret. On the board is what Sister Effie thinks it means, but you can see there's a problem because she doesn't know where to put the test. So I'm asking you do it please. As the storm approaches, a large class who professed faith abandon their position. So tell me what that would look like. I'll do a line for you. I want abandonment and abandonment and storm.
Storm is at the end.
Storm is here. Abandonment.
See, that one I don't know if it's work. I think in their hearts they had left before the test, but when the test came, what was in their hearts was revealed, and that's when they
We'll do the test in a minute. Just tell me the abandonment. Where's the abandonment in relationship to the storm?
spiritually before the storm.
It didn't say spiritually anywhere here.
No, but that's how it's working in my mind.
We've got to go with the words. I don't know if that's literal or what you meant by
I
that.
think they left before because that's how I'm thinking about it.
Is that what it says?
No, it says they left at the storm.
It says they left at the storm? It says as the storm approaches. Is it here yet?
No.
It's not here. What did they do?
Huh. So they leave before the storm. They abandon their position.
You okay with that? So I'm going to put abandonment here. I'm just making sure that's what it says in that first sentence. They abandoned before the storm. Yeah? Okay, now let's guess. Okay, now we don't know. So I'm asking you to guess. Why did they abandon?
Because they didn't believe because they were
Have another guess. I want you to guess what I'm guessing.
They haven't been sanctified.
No. Why would you're in this house and you can see across the way
They're scared.
a storm is coming, a tornado. What are you going to do? Okay, why are you abandoning your position
Because I'm afraid
of?
the storm,
Because you can see
that it's coming.
you can see the storm coming, so you abandon your position. That's a guess that we're making. She doesn't say that, but we have to ask ourselves the question, is this a cause and effect relationship? You see a storm coming, so you abandon your position. Because what's that storm going to do to you?
It's going to destroy me.
It's going to wipe you out, she says. It's going to destroy you, so you're going to move out of the way. Agree with that? Okay, so let's guess a little bit more. You're here, and the storm is headed your way. Where are you? Okay, so it says, a large class who have professed faith in the third angel's message. Where are you?
And the third angel
You're in the third angel's message. And where's the storm headed?
to me.
To the third angel. To those who have the third angel. So what are you going to do?
According to this,
Yeah.
I'm going to run.
You're going to move out the way. And where's the storm headed?
To the third angel.
It's headed to the third angel. And now you're out of the way. So you're going to escape the destructive power of the storm. Are you okay with that? You okay with that, Sister Effie? Okay? You sure? Yeah?
Yes.
Brother Douglas.
There is a time when the storm was not there.
The storm isn't here yet. It's still not here.
So I'm saying there's a time, like now here in Alliston, there's no storm. And then there's a time when the storm, you can see the storm coming.
Yep.
So can we not say that the storm is here?
No.
Like, because there's a time when the storm is not here, the skies are clear. And then there's a time when we see the storm, because like it doesn't just come like this. Like you see the clouds gathering, you see building, you're like, oh, this storm is coming.
It's coming, but it's not here.
I would say it's here. Because if you see it, it's not just going to dissipate. Like it's coming, we know that if you see the clouds, we know the rain is
I'm just reading what it says. It says, as the storm approaches. It's there, not here. If the storm was here, what would it have done to you, Sister Denise?
If it was here,
And you hadn't moved out of the way?
it would have destroyed me.
You would have been destroyed.
I'm thinking about progression.
Progression is fine, but progression has to have a start point.
That's what I'm saying. There's a time when the storm is
And it
not
hasn't
there.
started.
Yeah, like the storm is not there at all. And then now the progression starts coming.
Yeah, but we're not worried about there. We're worried about here. You're an Adventist. When did the storm of the Sunday law begin? When could you see the Sunday law approaching?
As a priest,
As an Adventist.
as an Adventist, I would say in 1888 back.
So how far? The storm's been approaching for a long time. There's no Sunday law here. We're in 2019 and we still don't have a Sunday law. We claimed there was a Sunday law 5 years ago, and it's still not a Sunday law. So the storm has been approaching for a long time, but it's not here.
But as priests, what we are saying is that the storm is here.
As Adventists, it's not, and priests are Adventists, and there's no Sunday law here. If you want to ask us priests, you're saying the storm is past, present, or future.
As
Do you
a
want to-
priest,
You said priest, because you said priest. As a priest, is the storm past, present, or future? Don't answer the question, because the answer is you don't know, because the priest line is a what? It's a fractal. And we don't know what a fractal looks like, do we? We have no idea what fractals look like, because what do we have to do? What a fractal is a what?
is a miniature
Miniature of?
of the bigger picture.
So you have to go to the bigger picture to understand the smaller one. So we don't know what a storm and a priest is until we know what the bigger line says. And Sister Refi took us to the bigger line. So we're in the bigger line now. And in the bigger line, you abandon before the storm comes. So you have to take that model and bring it down to 2014, which is the priest line. And that's why she's struggling now. Because she had a position yesterday that says abandonment is what? Sister Refi?
Yeah, I said it was a Sunday law.
She said abandonment was Sunday law.
With a characteristic.
No, she said abandonment was Sunday law, and now she says test is Sunday law and storm is Sunday law. And she can see the abandonment is before the storm. So she's stuck. So you can't go to a priest line to prove what you want to prove. You have to go to the big line, let it demonstrate what it does, and then you have to work out the pieces for the priest line. So let me just finish through with Sister Denise. Are you okay with this first sentence? Yeah? Are you okay why you abandon? You go from the natural to the spiritual. The storm is a natural phenomena. It hasn't arrived, and you're going to move out the way before it hits. Okay? Second sentence. By uniting with the world and partaking of its spirit, they have come to look at things the same way that the world looks at it. Are you okay with that paraphrase? Yeah? And when the test is brought, so when did they become worldly? Before the test. Are we okay with that? So leave the worldliness apart. When the test comes, what are they going to do? What are they now ready to do right now when the test comes? Which is abandonment. So we've got abandonment here. So where would the test be? The test comes and they say, when the test comes, we're going to move.
So that would be
There's no Sunday law in any of this.
Okay, so then,
We had worldliness before the test, which we're going to put on the board. We've got abandonment and we've got storm. And now I've got test. I want to know where to put the test. Where do you read where to put the test? What we must not do as we approach a passage like this is try to define what the test is and say it's a Sunday law and try to bring all of our knowledge to bear upon this thing. Because when you do it, you end up making mistakes. So I just want to read the passage as is.
when the storm comes, they were being tested before. And they had just made their decision at the test, at the exam,
The test, they make a decision to do what?
to stay or leave.
To abandon. Where do you mark abandonment here? It's right there.
The storm.
So, no, the abandonment is before the storm. You agree?
Howard left before.
You agree? We can go back to the first sentence. You already agree with that? So, where is the test? Where is the test? Is it a separate waymark or is it linked to one of these waymarks that we've already got?
It's linked to the storm, to the,
Abandonment.
yeah.
So I'll put test here then. Before the test, what have they become?
Worldly.
So there's worldliness, abandonment at the test before the storm comes. Is that how you read?
But I don't think everybody can see that until the last one.
Everyone in this room or everyone in the passage?
Everyone in general. I'm thinking like when that really, I'm thinking of examples in my head.
I'm not thinking about everyone, I'm just thinking about the large class. I'm only thinking about the people that's in this passage, not people who are not in the passage.
I forgot what the question was.
You said not everyone can see everything. I said perhaps they can't, but I'm only talking about the people that's referred to. It talks about a large class of people. Before, they were worldly. Then, when the test comes, they abandon their position, and the abandonment was before the storm. Just to make sure you're happy with that. Sister Wendy, are you happy with that? Brother Douglas, are you happy with that?
Yeah.
Sure? Brother David?
Yeah.
Yeah? We want to make sure that what we read is what's on the board. Because I've already tried to do what Sister Denise showed us. Yep. Brother, Sister Wendy?
I'm thinking I would like to have a test before
The test before the abandonment?
Is that what you meant when you asked, is it a link to that? You had asked Sister Denise, is it linked to the abandonment?
Yes.
I said yes.
So when you link it, I'm saying, where do you put it then? Do you put it here? All of them are cause and effect. They're all linked, but I want to know how strongly they're linked. I want to know, are they the same waymark or are they separated? Because abandonment and storm are linked, but they're not the same point in time.
Well, it sounds to me like, just reading it for what it is, the only reason why they abandoned, I don't want to say only, but from the context in which you're talking about it now, the reason why they abandoned because there was a test. Because if there was no test, then they would not abandon. That's kind of read it. So
It doesn't say that.
So I'm saying
No, they didn't say that. They abandoned because of what?
because of the test.
Where do you find that? Sister Catherine? They abandoned because of the storm. The first sentence says that.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah.
They see the storm coming and they abandon because of the storm, not because of the test.
Right. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
When it comes to the test, what's the issue with the test? Why is there an abandonment connected to the test, Sister Wendy?
Because they didn't see the storm. Say your question again.
What's the connection? The abandonment and the storm, we've done that. They don't want pain. Why is there a connection between abandonment and test? Test makes them choose. So they're going to make a choice here, and the choice they're going to make is based upon their previous experience, this worldliness. Okay, Sister Effie, are you okay with all of that?
Yes.
Okay, so do you agree that you can't do this?
Yes.
So that's why I wanted to do it that way. Okay? So the storm is something, and the test is something. So if they're separate, we know that they're not both Sunday law. So it's not this model. So the question is, which one is the Sunday law? The storm or the test? Storm is then what?
The effect of that test, the results, what happens after the
Give me a way mark.
Jacob's family,
Okay, so you want to put COP.
everything that comes after.
Brother James.
I just have a question. You were saying earlier that we don't want to bring our ideas into the passage, so why wouldn't we try to figure out in the passage which part is the test or the storm before we start putting a label on it?
Yes, we would.
That's not what you're doing.
No, because I've got 25 minutes and we're jumping at a pace. If we were doing this properly, we'd have to put a couple of more hours into this to really, maybe not a couple of hours, but at least another class, just to really do that, to make sure that we're reading it really carefully. Okay? When a surface, superficial reading, people assume that the storm is the Sunday law. With what we did, half an hour thereabouts, you can see quite readily that the storm and the test are separate. You could see that, and as soon as that happened, because you had a preconceived idea, you came to a dead stop and you said, okay, I just back away now, I don't know what to do. And then when you did that, it starts impacting the line of the priests. You start getting problems now because it doesn't connect with your version of the priests. Okay? So now, if you're happy to disengage them, because that's what the passage is saying, disengage them, now does all your model work? Your original premise, does it all work, what you said? Sunday law is demonstration of two classes separating. Does it all work now? So it all works now. So what was the hindrance?
The methodology.
Yeah, all that, but what was the blockage?
Assuming that the storm.
It was the storm. The storm was the issue. We assumed what the storm was. And as soon as you assume what the storm is, you're going to go down that road, and William Miller, he's going to assume what? The earth is a sanctuary, and no one, because he's not in a class, he's saying, the quotes don't work that way. Can we see that? Without someone checking, or without you checking yourself, it's easy to fall down this ditch, because it's, of course, the storm would be the Sunday law. It's going to be terrible. What else could it be? Yeah, it makes complete sense to make a storm the Sunday law. And there's a test in there. We know the only test we've got, the great test, is the Sunday law. So you connect them together, and it's all easy. And a surface reading, you can sort of just fudge your way through that. It all looks good until closer examination.
So, from what we just did, what I'm taking from it is when we're reading a passage, it's good to put it on a line and see the progression, place keywords or whatever, depending on what you're studying, place them where they need to be so you can see the relationship they have. And then you'll be able to make a point or a conclusion, come to a conclusion. If the progression agrees and the definitions and everything comes together, then you won't be wrong. That's what I'm hearing.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's extremely hard to do.
Yeah.
If it's by yourself, you're not a good reader, you have preconceived ideas, everything's stacked against you. You know, you're funneled into making mistakes. It's really easy to do that. And it's really hard to have the self-discipline to put your preconceived ideas to one side, to read carefully, and to analyse what's going on. It's really difficult. Brother David.
And in addition to what she said, so when you have done what she says, now you can properly fractalize, because you would be able to have seen that you use the right methodology on the big line, and then when you bring it down to the fractalization level, you would be safe because you'd be able to also fit it in properly, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you
It's
get
also important,
when you get everything put together and there's no mistakes, you know that your answer has integrity to it. I want to just remind us, as Brother James said, we went through all of this and we just did a huge leap, because I just put Sunday laws and closed probations in there, and there's no real evidence for that in this passage. We'd have to do quite a bit more digging. But it was an exercise. It was an exercise to show how important it is to read carefully. If you don't read carefully, you end up destroying 2014. 2014, when you can see it, works, has integrity, when you separate them. If you're okay with that? Yep? Okay.
Did you say that the Sunday law still demonstrates a separation?
Yeah, I'm happy to separate or to put them together. What I didn't want to do is force something upon you. You know, I could have I was tempted to really put that next to each other, so it's two waymarks really close, they become one. I'm okay with that flexibility, because we really haven't studied it together. I put it here at the top. Sister Wendy wants to put it before, and I'm okay with that. If you read more passages, I don't know if she's reading that in the passage, which it might be there to tease it out, but if you went to another passage, you'll find that this is the case. The abandonment happens after the Sunday law.
Before?
After. The abandonment happens after the test, that she's got it. You go to other passages that show that.
So the test is the Sunday law?
The test is the Sunday law.
Oh, storm.
Storm is closed to probation. Raffia, 2014. You've not seen something? There's a problem?
Okay. I was reading that's the storm of the Sunday law. I was thinking, I was looking at the S's, Sunday law or something.
Storm,
Yeah.
not Sunday law. Are you sure?
So the test is the Sunday law, and the people abandoned afterwards before the storm, which is the closing probation.
Yep. The way I read that passage, I would have put them together. But if you want to separate them, then I think you'd be forced to do something like this. The abandonment begins at the Sunday law and it escalates to a point. But I didn't want to go further into the passage because we'd spend all class doing it. I just wanted to get 3 points together. So, are we okay with that? You okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. Sister Daniela? Ezra 7:9, latter rain. Anyone got any comments on that or any thoughts? No? Okay, so if we go back to the Millerite history, I think he did this on Sabbath last week when Brother Tabo did a presentation, I think it was Sabbath, and he listed out characteristics of what? Of the midnight cry. I think he did the Millerite one and our one, if I recall. Okay, so that to me is the answer to this question. Particularly Samuel Snow is going to take Ezra 7, and even though he has 4, 5, 6 different arguments, the cornerstone of all of his arguments, or the foundation, is what? What's the foundational argument that he's got? Samuel Snow's, what's his message? What's his message?
That on October 22nd,
On the 10th day of the 7th month, what's going to happen?
Jesus is going to come.
The sanctuary is going to be restored. The sanctuary is the earth, so Jesus is going to come. And one of the primary verses that he's going to use is what? Ezra 7:9. So he's going to use Ezra 7:9 as the bedrock upon which everything else is going to be built. And why is he going to do that? Because he's going to see the first day of the first month. First of the first month, April the 19th is where he's going to begin. Now, they do not have awareness, they do not have a self-consciousness about August. So just so that we know that. So he's going to skip over the first day of the 5th month. He's going to skip over that. He's going to say the first of the 5th month they get to Jerusalem, and he's going to fudge the next bit through, and he's going to say they spend a little bit of time in preparation, and then they're going to restore temple services to their proper place. And he's going to say that is the 10th day of the 7th month, which is not in the verse. So you've got first day, 5th month. We'll put that in parentheses because he's going to skip that. And then he's going to go to the 10th day of the 7th month. And this one would put it in a different colour because it's not even in the verse. It's inferred. And the inference of this day in that verse, he's going to prove through other lines of evidence. Yeah? He's going to prove it through other lines of evidence. We'll say Daniel 9. He's going to use Daniel 9 to bear upon this, but this is his foundational verse. And Samuel Snow's message is what? Is what? We call it? Sorry? The midnight cry. So his message is the midnight cry. They add a word before that. What word did they do, Brother James? I don't remember. Did you say that? What word is?
No, I was talking about a multi-concept midnight cry.
A multi-concept with. What comes before that? Do you know?
Midnight.
No, the word. They don't. It's not. He's not just doing the midnight cry. I don't know if anybody knows the term. The true midnight cry. They're very specific. They say this is the true midnight cry because the one they had was.
Not the true midnight cry, the false.
Okay, so we'll use the false one because we're going to juxtapose, but they don't use the juxtaposition like we do. So my question is not if the other one was true or false, but what was the other midnight cry, Sister Catherine? What was the other midnight cry? This is a true one. There's a false one. They don't say false. I agree it's not false.
When was it?
Yeah, well, yeah. When? What was it?
It was in 43.
43? Sister Wendy? Sister Catherine?
The start of April 44.
April 44? Some people are crying out now in April 44? Sister Daniela?
I would say it's the time Mulan started saying, preaching.
He started preaching. When Miller starts preaching, hopefully it's on this board. What are everybody saying when Miller starts preaching? So it can't be when Miller starts preaching.
It's August 11th.
Okay, so this is the true midnight cry. This is August 44. And there is the midnight cry, which is... You just told us.
August 40, sorry.
August 40.
Sorry, I'm still, what is August 44? True Midnight Cry?
True midnight cry.
August 44, why?
Exeter.
Oh yes, okay.
We use that. We say Exeter. They don't say Exeter.
I get you.
Just, yeah, they're saying what? Brother James? When's their true midnight cry? It's not August.
When is their true midnight cry?
In their analysis of their... When did they say it is?
If they're crying about 10th day of the 7th month. Oh, they said July 21st.
July. I've put August. They say July. Are you okay with that?
We put August, they say July.
We say August. They say July.
July was Concord? What was July?
July is Boston.
Okay. The first, okay, yes. Alright.
Yeah?
Yes.
Because if you go back to Bates, when you say Boston, he says the midnight, I paraphrase, he says the midnight cry carried on at Boston. Yeah? Which means it must have already been there. So it's July that they're gonna say this is the midnight cry. They don't even really know about August. They don't have a self-awareness. What is August? What date? What date is August?
Date?
What date is August? Why have I put in parentheses, Sister Rachel? What was that? What did that mean? Samuel Snow ignores the first day of the 5th month, and they ignore August, and July is not in the passage. Yeah? And they're not clever like us, because where is July found, Sister Effie? Which Bible verse? That's August. August is the first day of the 5th month. Where is July found? You may not know. I'm just testing if you know. Bible verse. Anybody know the Bible verse?
What day it is, I don't know.
What day is it? If August is the first of the 5th month, it's July, the 4th month.
4th month?
Yeah.
Which Bible verse? I'll just put it here randomly. Ezekiel. Says on the 5th day of the 4th month. They do not know that. They have no visibility of that. We know that. So first day of the 5th month. So let's just tidy up. Ezra 7:9 is what the true midnight cry is built upon. Everything stacks upon that. Brother Douglas says it's multifaceted. But it's multifaceted, it has to be built upon something. And it's built upon Ezra 7:9. Why Ezra 7:9? Because in Ezra 7:9, Samuel Snow has worked out the first day of the first month is April. And now he says, now we're on a journey. They thought the journey had come to an end, and now they realise the journey is only beginning. Yeah? The multifacetedness comes with this 6 month shift, 457 to 1843. 457 to 1843, yes? You start in 457, you would end in 1843. You shift it over 6 months, you're halfway into 457, and then the way the maths goes, you're now into 1844, October, 6 months out, 10th day of the 7th month. So he's going to use all those arguments, but the simple concept that we want to see is that he's going to use Ezra 7, the first day of the first month. It's not the end, it's the beginning. He's going to use other arguments to do the 10th day of the 7th month, and I'm just going to go with Daniel chapter 9. Daniel chapter 9 is the autonomous feasts, the feasts that happen in the autumn. First Advent, spring. Second Advent, autumn. Autumn is what major waymark? Feast. Day of Atonement, Daniel 8:14. So Daniel 9 is Daniel 8:14. Same story, that's why I put 9. So that's why he's going to go to that. And I've put it dotted because it's not in the verse. Are you okay with that, Sister Daniela? Okay. It's the true midnight cry. The true midnight cry, we say August. It can't be August. They're going to say July. Are we okay with that? Because, anyway, there's reasons for that. They don't have a Bible verse. We have it, Ezekiel 1:1. If that was the true, what's the false midnight cry? It was August 1840, which is why we spent a lot of time in August 1840. It's really important, and sometimes we miss that. They don't call it the false, they call it the alarm. They say that one, they don't tell you which one it is, they say that one was just the alarm. A dry run, if you like. Yeah? Do you call it dry run? A practice? Yeah? A trial, a drill. So that was the drill to see if you're really paying attention. And by April the 19th, how many people weren't paying attention? Many, many people. So that was the dry run, the drill. Now they're going to have the true one. So now they're going to start it really, properly. So it starts here, and by the true midnight cry, now the alarm is sounding, and now this one's for real. It's not a drill. You okay with that? So that's why 2014 is the Sunday law. We've already missed some steps, by the way, because Ezra 7 is the latter rain. Ezra 7 is the latter rain. It was for the Millerites, and therefore it is for us. And so when we say Ezra 7:9 has just popped out of nowhere, like it did for them, what it did for them, it does for us. What it did for them was gave the midnight cry. What it does for us gives the midnight cry. It's the foundation or the beginning. You called it the latter rain. So then we have to go back and tie in latter rain with midnight cry, which we can do. We can tie in midnight cry with latter rain. So the first step is midnight cry. Second step is latter rain. We need to connect them. And then the third step is? Mr. Daniel, the third step? Sunday law. What do you have to tie up? Latter rain with the Sunday law. You need to tie that up together. When does the latter rain begin? You just did it here.
Okay, sorry, say that again.
When does the latter rain begin?
When does the latter rain begin?
That's what all your argument was.
Yes.
Your whole logic was latter rain. Ezra 7 was not 9/11.
Yes, okay.
2014 you told us.
Yes.
So where'd you get 9/11 from?
It's in another series line.
It's not there. No latter rain at 9/11. Okay? The midnight cry connected to the latter rain. The latter rain, you connect to the Sunday law. You need spirit prophecy or Bible quotes to do all of this. It's a big study to demonstrate that. All of this must be taken at the big line before you bring it down at a fractal level. You have to be able to prove that the Sunday law is the latter rain. You need quotes to do that. Then you have to prove that the latter rain and the midnight cry are synonymous or are together. You need quotes to prove that. Then you need quotes to prove that the midnight cry, maybe I'd put it, I think I'd probably put it at the bottom, that the midnight cry equals what? Sorry, someone said? The loud cry. You have to be able to demonstrate that. Because we don't have a midnight cry in our history. Do we? We have a loud cry. So you have to be able to demonstrate that. You need quotes to do that. You need a lot of quotes to undergird that simple statement of Ezra 7. But the logic was correct. You went to the correct place. It is Ezra 7. And the reason, the connection is that you're saying Ezra 7 is the latter rain. I'm saying, where'd you get that from? And then you stumbled because you only know but you forgot, under the pressure that I'm bringing upon you, that Ezra 7 is Samuel Snow. And Samuel Snow is going to use this as the foundation for all of his proofs. First day of the first month goes to the 10th of the 7th month. He has to use multiple pieces of logic, but that is the foundation of it. So it's the true midnight cry. The true midnight cry is connected with the latter rain. The latter rain is the Sunday law, and the midnight cry is the loud cry. Are we okay with that? Are we okay with the storm?
Yeah, Ezekiel 1:1. I was just trying to figure out how that is there. Verse 7.
That's just all the math to figure out how it's what?
I read in the Bible says that it's the
Fifth day of the fourth month.
That's what I.
Yeah, not the first of the fifth month.
Okay, and you had said that that's July. I understand that the fourth month is July because the fifth month is August, right? Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out why we went to this verse.
Because it's July. Oh, we have to do. I'm not doing. We can't do the maths of all of that. Well, how do you get August is the first of the fifth month? No, it's the mathematics.
I'm starting from January, that's why it's not making sense.
Yeah. Are you okay that August is the fifth month?
Yes.
So if August is the fifth month, July is the fourth month.
I get that.
Okay.
I'm just wondering why we went to this particular verse is what I'm asking.
Because I said we teach that the midnight cry was in August. This movement teaches that. What did the Millerites teach? That the midnight cry was when? In July. We recognize that and we have a quote for that, or a Bible verse, which is Ezekiel 1:1. But they don't recognize that July 21st is a prophetic date. They don't know about any prophetic dates. All they know is this prophetic date, April the 19th, and this one. They don't know the ones in between. They experience it, but they don't know it. We've had to go back in and dig that information out. They experienced July and August, but they didn't know they were a fulfillment of Bible verses. That's the only reason I went to Ezekiel. To show that they were a fulfillment of Bible verses, and we know that, and they didn't. Okay, so decision time. Not everybody was here. It's preparation day, so we don't have a full day of class. Last week you only had 2 classes. I believe, that's what I was told. So the question is, do you want 2 classes or 3 classes today? If it's 3 classes, you end up going hard up to lunch, which means, I guess there's a lot of work to do at the back end of the day with all your Sabbath prep, and I don't know what time people are leaving. If they're comfortable, they can get everything ready today in order to leave in a timely fashion on Sunday. Or we have 2 classes. if it's 2 classes, this was my last class, and Brother Marco is going to take the next class. If it's 3, I'll take the next class, and then he'll do the one just before lunch. So if you were late, you obviously missed that, but most people were here. So I don't know what you want to do, vote, or if you don't have to do it right this week. You can study it in a couple of minutes, but I want to know sort of before breakfast. So you've got 30 minutes still to talk about it. If you have a strong opinion one way or the other, Brother Douglas.
Okay, that's good.
In fact, let's pray, and then should have done that. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your goodness and mercy. We want to ask and pray that you would guide, direct and bless us. Help us, Lord, to prepare in our hearts, our minds, as well as our bodies, to prepare for your holy Sabbath. We pray these things in Jesus' precious name. Amen.